Big kid energy, baby. Big kid energy. Welcome back to FredTalk, season 2 of FredTalk. Whole new vibe. Took a break, launched a couple other projects, but we back, baby. I didn't forget about the Fred heads out there. Trust me. This is Fred heads about life, philosophy, beauty, truth. Fred heads ain't going away, right? You know, we may take some breaks here and there to collect the thoughts because, you know, I want to make sure I have something to say, I have people to bring on, you know, make sure I'm not doing everything that all these other podcasts are doing, you know? Got to switch it up a little bit sometimes, but wanted to drop this Dolocast first just to, I guess, reintroduce myself, you know, check back in with the audience. Hopefully I don't lose too many of you. That's the thing, man. You lose momentum when you take breaks, but fuck it, we're here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, dude. What have you guys learned about yourself, huh? What has COVID taught you? I mean, I recorded something like this a few months ago and then, you know, didn't release, but it's just, what has COVID taught you? Was it financial? Was it spiritual? Huh? Was it relationshipal? Was it that one? Did your relationship get put to the test, huh? Or lack thereof? I can't imagine. Thank God I'm not single. Thank God. I can't imagine being single at a time where you're not allowed to go out and touch people. That's fucking crazy. Or breathe next to them. Come on. Shout out to single people that followed the lockdown and didn't and held back. I know most of you are probably out there just being dogs, huh? Going down in the underground, not posting to social media. You know, how many people you were around. Because hey, listen, I get it. You don't want to be alone. Nobody does, right? I completely understand. I mean, COVID was so fucked. The whole situation was so fucked that you had no, you know, this is pre-George Floyd too, like no chance but to get better. This virus exposed parts of society at every level, you know, from the individual all the way up to the whole, on a financial level, on a racial level. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you really, for a lot of people, you got to see how fucking nuts everything is. When things just go a little bit, you just tweak it a little bit, and how sideways shit could be to the point where you're kind of like, am I living in is this a dream right now? You know? It's chaos out there, guys. It's chaos out there. I'm not going to front. But this is when the change happens, guys. This is where you make moves. Most of the people that I surround myself with, they have found some way to make this whole COVID thing work for them. And I know everybody's situation and everybody's different, but you got to look at the positive. I lost a ton of money for months, but I got something. For me personally, the most important thing I got was a sense of myself back. So I guess it was, call it spiritual or whatever you want. But I just felt like I got a sense of me back. I was by myself most of the time. You know, my girl was working. I was alone in my thoughts. I did 90 days of sobriety, which I started right before the lockdown started. I was just kind of like, you know, I was eating too much. Just the discipline wasn't there. You know, I've talked about it before. And I was like, I got to do something. I got to change it up. I was like, all right, I'm going to do 90 days sober. I'm not drinking. I'm not doing anything, right? Just whatever. Just going to raw dog life. Like a true warrior. and I did it right before. And even when lockdown happened, I was like, well, I guess it's lockdown. Like, how many other chances are you going to get? But I decided not to. I was like, let me just, you know, do this during this time, the hardest time to do it. And I mean, if I could recommend for anybody that's, you know, looking to change something up, do like a prolonged sobriety. Like 30 days is cool. But 30 days, you can see the end of the tunnel when you start the race, you know? 90 days, here's a secret, guys. I'm full of shit, guys. Here's a secret. I actually wanted to do 100 days. No, I started off with 90. Then when I was like day 30-something, I was like, I'm going to do 100 days just because 100 sounds better than just doing 90. That was solely because I was like, 100 would just sound way more badass. When I got to day 90, I was like, ayo, fuck this shit. I'm doing 90 days. And I ordered a whiskey. That was right. It was like the first phase of letting people out. I was at a socially distant restaurant that is no longer open here in Raleigh. It had cool Miami vibes. The food was awesome too. I can't stand when places when they hit the ambiance, but they don't get the food. There's not a lot of things that annoy me, but that really does. But this place had the vibe, and the food I could say was even better than the vibe, and the vibe was freaking awesome. But I guess there was some sexual misconduct allegations. Shit happened allegedly. Pop pop. That place isn't there anymore, but. The one time I did spend there, the food was great. The vibe was good. I remember washing my hands and thinking, like, you don't know what we still didn't really fully know about COVID. And I'm like, damn, like that steak was good as fuck. It was so good. And I was like, if I get COVID, I'm not even going to be mad, Like if I got COVID for going out, but I had the dinner was that good. I mean, I'd be like, damn, this shit was kind of worth it, Let me get that tomahawk steak again, made Puerto Rican style. It was good. It was like a Puerto Rican fusion spot. It was really good. I think there's a new spot there now. Have not been. Cannot give any recommendations on it in downtown Raleigh. Let's see. Now, so 90 days clean. So, I mean, this really was, I guess, something. I feel corny using the word spiritual, but it is what it is. It was just I got closer to myself, my thoughts, like what I think, how I think, and I just got like conviction in a lot of things that I may have been insecure about. And like just like when you're going for something like this, something so kind of like out there, low percentage success rate, there's that self-doubt that creeps in, man. Frequently, man. You're always fighting it off. And sometimes it's just sometimes it's worse than others, but we're out here, baby. We're out here. I lost my train of thought there, but that's okay because I feel like it rolled into something just a little bit better. 90 days of sobriety. Guys, if you're feeling down, you got the COVID depression. COVID depression is weird because sometimes you don't even feel like you feel it because you're trying to trick yourself that I'm going to do this and you might have it. So be careful with that. But if you want something to help you fight the COVID depression, right? Our society's in in a collapse depression. Check out Avatar on Netflix. I mean, it made #1 for the longest time in being in the top 10 for Netflix. It took out Ozark. Ozark had that title, and Avatar: The Last Airbender came in. It's a children's cartoon, guys, but don't let that like turn you away. If you're into like self-help, self-development, and you like good pieces of art, this is something that you should watch. If you don't normally watch animated things, I would say to challenge yourself to sit down and watch this thing, man, because not only is the writing awesome, like the storytelling is great. It's also like funny and cute, obviously, because it's a children's show. But then on the other end, they're covering like all these deep, socio-political topics, and not in like a way of like, this was like before the woke movement. They created this before the woke movement. So I don't want you to think like, oh, it's going to be, some kind of like virtue signaling type shit. No, this is straight up a masterpiece. And I cannot recommend, if you're looking for something to inspire you on a philosophical level too, this cartoon will do it for you, man. It's essentially, there's 4 different nations, earth, water, air. They each have their own qualities, and there's some imperialism going on there with the Fire Nation attacking. But it's a show about redemption. It's a show about friendship, about love, about trust. It's a show about, imbalances within yourself and within society. So if you're looking for something inspiring, like that'll give you hope, I recommend watching Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, obsessed with it. They're like 20-minute episodes, so you don't have to worry about sitting there for an hour a pop. And each season gets better, and like season 1, 2, 3, they get better and better, and the way it comes together, it's awesome. I highly recommend it. I started nerding out because then I started taking quizzes like, oh, which kind of bender am I? Am I an earth bender, a fire bender? Water? Huh? I'm an earth bender, guys. I'm stubborn. What else? Strong-willed is an earth bender. Firebenders they persevere, they're fierce. Waterbenders are healers and go with the flow types, but can be very devastating if provoked or whatever. So that gives you a little taste of what the show is. Highly recommend it. I think I'm gonna be one of the characters for Halloween. I don't know. We'll see. Every year I say I'm gonna be something for Halloween, and I never followed through with that. So that's kind of my tradition. It's always better thinking about the idea for Halloween than actually following through. I've had people use my ideas before too. One time I said, I'm just going to go in a big box, and just kind of like, so you're like this inside of it, and you're kind of like inconveniently, this was when I was younger, guys. I didn't do it, but I had a friend that did, and it got the laughs that I thought it was going to get. So I was very proud of that. Let's see. COVID exposing people. Let's see. Finances. I mean, this thing, yeah, it's gonna, it's pushing us. It's pushed us to the brink. And I think, that was a perfect storm with the whole George Floyd thing, and then the looters, and then the rioters, the peaceful protesters, all three different people, then there's the cognitive dissonance on both sides. Then there's, ultimate tribalism going on. People are using, race. They're using the black plight, they're using the black struggle and exploiting it for their own, political message, which is, I mean, it's a fucking tale as old as time, guys, and things are confusing. The most recent Spider-Man movie, if you've seen it, it's the one where he fights, spoiler, guys, for Spider-Man Far From Home, when they're in Italy, and he fights Mysterio. So Mysterio is the villain that uses illusions to trick Spider-Man from tricking whole scenarios, uses all this high-tech stuff. It's really freaking cool. But the deep meaning that I found behind that movie, between Spider-Man Far From Home, is that the idea of objective reality, because of technology and where we're going, the idea of objective reality is now being bent, which isn't supposed to happen. You feel me? At some point, there should be a place where most people can go, okay, this is reality. And now, because of, a number of things, people just have their truths about things that are factual and actual, and it doesn't help for, any political conversation, because whatever stats you got, somebody else can find the opposite thing, and then feel good about it at the end of the day. People love that confirmation bias. We know that, guys. Change my mind. I'm open-minded. That's a saying. You hear it a lot. I love catching on to patterns of speech and things that are said. But one of those, I could probably count this as a type of virtue signal. If you're full of shit when you say it, most people are, is when they say, I'll change my mind with new information. That's the cool, hey, I'm a conversationalist and an intellectual. That's what some of these people tout, which is great if that's actually something you do. But what I found is that most people don't, you just kind of gotta, I don't know. Definitely can't name call. I'll tell you that. That's just going to throw it up in the air, and then there's the craziest part of this whole political thing for me is, here's the craziest part, guys. Here's the saddest part. It makes me sad when I think about it, is that those red and blue, they're all on the same fucking team. All right. They're they're not that far from each other. The corporations are in their pocket. They have lunch together in DC an hour after they just yelled at each other on camera. Right. It's political theater. It's the WWE, but it's politics. And if somebody can tell me that you think I'm wrong, let me know. I'd love for you to poke holes in this thought. Yeah, but it's the WWE. It's kind of staged. It's whatever. They're amassing money and power, while us, the people, with actually, if we could all get together with all the power, they got us down here fighting amongst each other, disowning friends, disowning family members. That's fucked up, man. People not talking to each other because of, because they're voting one way or the other, or someone in your family just constantly trying to find reasons why the black person deserved to get shot. Just crazy, and there's just things that people want to believe because they're limited experience on the planet. These are people that don't have haven't been around in other cultures, other places, to understand, to grow a little bit of compassion. I don't know. Open-minded people. That's it. Everybody says they're open-minded. Few people are, I think, actually open-minded. Here's a sign. Someone's truly open-minded is if you're having a discussion. And I thought of this. If you're having a discussion with someone and you give them some new information, and it makes sense, it's sound and all that, and the person reacts with, I never thought about it like that. Oh, shit. And they get excited. A truly open-minded person gets excited when their theory is disproven because now they don't look at it as, I don't really think people look at it anyway. I just think the feeling behind it is, behind the mindset is that you didn't take anything away. You just added a piece to the puzzle. Like that, me thinking that wrong thing for 3 months was a building block to get to this point right here where I could have this conversation. And this is after you've analyzed it in your head. Like, is this valid? Is this sound? If somebody says some off the wall shit, well, did you know that, starfish are actually African-American too? Somebody says some dumb shit like that. Did you go, shut the fuck? What YouTube channels are you on? What conspiracies, But if it's sound and it makes sense and, that to me is the sign of a truly open-minded person. They get excited when someone disproves their theory. It's a great feeling when you can find, if you're like that yourself and you find somebody else like that. I don't know, man. We're last election, and here's the thing, guys. I'm going to tell you who I vote for because I don't give a fuck who you vote for, guys. This shit is too nuanced. To the people that I know that are fucking doing something with their life, they make the best informed decision that they can make. They vote either way, and then they keep it moving with their life. Let's not make politics our personality. Remember, guys, they're in the WWE, these politicians. We're real fucking people. When shit hits the fan, we got to fucking pay for it. You saw that in 2008. You're seeing that with the coronavirus. So don't get it twisted. For the Trump Hillary thing, my initial thing going in, I was like, listen, I can't vote for either of these people. Fuck that. I just couldn't, just morally could not. I was having a conversation with this girl, super smart, PhD, and she talked me into voting for Hillary because she logicked me into it, right? And my thing at the end of it was like, I guess I can't really trust a guy with that big of an ego with nuclear launch codes. That was what I was thinking. I was like, all right, well, now I feel like the safety and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to vote Hillary, whatever, lesser of two evils. I did that. Voted for Hillary in 2016. Now, if you want to fucking not, think less of me or not be friends with me, that's fine. And people don't give their political shit because that can minimize your audience. You can alienate, but this isn't an alienating thing because I'm going to treat my audience like I treat my friends. I have friends with different opinions, vote different ways. I always say that the people I really get along with are the ones where 80% of the shit I fuck with you on, like core values and positivity, blah, 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 hard work. But then I want another like 20% or so, 20% to be like, how the fuck is this person thinking of this right now? Where did they, I think they're completely off base and wrong, but it's entertaining for me because now I'm like, how is this person thinking, So I want my audience essentially to be people that can talk to people of different, not only races, but socioeconomic background, or they can come here to like learn in some way or whatever. So I voted for Hillary and I find out Trump wins and my reaction is I laugh. I'm not like, oh my God, the fucking launch codes. What are we going to do? And then I go off on a whole adventure looking for nuclear launch codes and Donald Trump. This is actually sounding like a pretty good movie now that I'm thinking about it. No, I laughed and I was like, oh, fuck, whatever. And I go about my day, and I build my own life because I'm not giving any president credit or blame for my life. Fuck that shit. Fuck that. Right? Ever since that vote that I made, I felt bad personally because I went against my conscience. I was like, I did something for whatever. I just did not feel good about it. For a very long time, did not feel good about it. Still really don't when I bring it up. It makes me uncomfortable. So now going into this election, going in, whatever. I don't really care if Trump wins. Don't really want him to win. I don't think personally as a leader, he's just too divisive, man. We need somebody, if you up top and the president is the distraction. That's who we look at as like, hey, what's going on? And you take these moments to be divisive. That's just a little fucked up. I personally can't co-sign on that. You know what I'm saying? I can't co-sign on that. And then the Biden thing, right? I'm thinking, all right, people talk shit about Trump being sexist and homophobic and what, which is true or could be true or whatever. But if you're making that argument, you're yelling about Trump, but then you're like super cool with Biden, that's a little weird to me, because I could make, someone could make the same argument based on the news that we've gotten or alleged news that we've gotten. You can come up with the same conclusion. He wrote the 94 crime bill. You talk about systemic racism in modern society. He added to that, like directly added to it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these systemic structures are already in place. They've been there for generations. And Biden added to that. And I can't co-sign on that. Straight up. Donald Trump not denouncing white supremacists. That's fucking dark, man. I never got emotional about Donald Trump up until I found out that, and I don't want to say emotional, like I got pissed. I was just kind of like, what the fuck, man? Like, it was when he did his campaign rally in Tulsa on Juneteenth. It's like, come on, man. That's, and I know he rescheduled it, but still, it was like, bro, what the fuck, dude? Like, that was when I was like, all right, we need a leader, guy. Come on. You know? I saved money on taxes, which was nice. I saved, but I don't give a fuck about money. So, like, I'm going back to, I'm going to vote my conscience, and I'm not going to vote Republican or Democrat this term. I'm going to vote third party. Oh my God, but that is a vote for Trump. No, it's not. Stop manipulating people and stop fucking fear-mongering people into voting your way. Voting for a third party is literally, technically, and actually not true, guys. All right? It's just not. I think this is some weird political tactic formulated, whatever, in the ether, that is a way to guilt people into voting their side and thinking that they're throwing their vote away. Guys, for the libertarian candidate to get on the debate stage, they need to be polling at 13%. They've been around 9% for the past couple elections. So instead of thinking like most Americans and most people, and they want everything quick and they want everything fast now, is like, why are we trying to do this with politics as well? You hate the two-party system. You complain about it. You're lesser of two evils. Donald Trump is supposedly the evilest man in the world, and he needs to be stopped. And then the Democrats bring a Joe Biden as that person. That's a weird, that he's the starting pitcher. That's you know what I'm saying? Like, just you think about that. Like, he's so, but you bring, I don't know. I just think you could have done better. And I'm looking at this. If you want to, I'm thinking, and tell me if you think, you'll tell me if this is stupid, guys. You'll tell me. Is fuck winning this election for voting third party. Maybe even fuck winning the next election. But maybe that third one down the road, we got a libertarian, a third party candidate. Right? And then you could be like, oh, I was a part of that long-term ass plan. If we just get more people voting third party and not be, you saw that debate. Come on. I think there's a third party that leans more right and the third party that leans more left. So you can get a choice. But I think the more people we get voting that way, the more, then they'll be on the debate stage. Then some kind of change will happen. At the end of the day, we got to get money out of politics. But, this is like a multinodal approach. We're coming in from all different angles. So I hope that you listen to that and we're like, fuck, I get it. Blah, blah, blah. This guy votes differently than me or has a different thing. Or, if you think that my vote, you're going to unfollow me because you think me voting third party is the reason why. I think you're wrong. Is straight up. I think you're wrong. Because you know why? Because today we live in a time where we're like kind of forced to give these politicians our votes. You crazy? You're supposed to earn my vote. When did it become this whole fucking, oh no, now you got to vote this way or else, like, they almost like, they're like it's like holding a hostage. Like, this is weird. Vote for me or else everything's going to fucking blow up. That's crazy. That's fucking nuts. So I'm voting third party. I hope the real ones stick with me, the open-minded people that want to learn about other cultures and other forms of thought, other, other set of principles, things like that. That way you can take what you like, replace some of the things that maybe weren't working for you. That's what this podcast is all about. This next season there'll be a lot more relationship conversation. We're still doing the philosophical, if you went through some shit, you overcame it, just some good life stories. Would love that. Let me know, guys. If you want to talk relationship stuff, so you're single out there dating, you want to talk about that, or you and your spouse or significant other want to come on the show, let me know, dude. Well, I would love to just talk to you about your relationship and your experience and what you've learned, what you guys do. Like, if you feel like you have a good relationship, why? Like, things like that, man. Get more of that stuff out there, because the relationship sphere is struggling right now, man. Just people, communicating with each other and things like that. And, since this podcast has started, a lot of other podcasts have come up that talk about people's life stories and things like that, which I still want to do. But I figured my way to separate myself would be to dive into something that I really like talking about, because race and relationships are my two favorite. I can speak hours on both of those things. It's just super interesting to hear people I'm lucky to have people tell me their issues that they're going through and things like that. And then you can just see a pattern and through line. So I definitely want to dive into more relationship conversation. So, if you have what it takes to put your story out there, or as a couple or as an individual, it'll be super helpful for people listening that may be struggling with the relationship stuff as well. So, it's funny that they tell us don't talk religion and politics. They tell us don't talk religion and politics, which I think is fucking insane. Well, how can you not talk about things that are so important? And I feel like that's some reverse psychology to get people to not pay attention, right? Because these are difficult conversations to have, because for a lot of us, the religion and politics is a big part of who we are, and that's okay. Whatever. I said, don't let politics be your personality. If it's all you got, it's the best you can do. I ain't hating on that. At the end, if you're doing the best you could do, I can't hate on any of it. You know what I'm saying? So they tell us don't talk about religion and politics. Those are the hardest conversations to have, which means that we need more practice doing it. Why would we not have the conversation and just lose a form of communication that can really bring everything to the next level? Overcoming insecurity, to have the difficult conversations about, sex and relationship, passion went down, what happened, what's going on, in our relationship, Rachel and I are super diligent about to make sure that our shit's good, so we're not, fucking up the energy out here. And even though we look for that, it pops. You always have a blind spot, no matter what. There's always a blind spot somewhere in your life. It's good to know, hey, I know this is the thing I got to work on, but I do get nervous when I feel like everything's good and I'm like, there's nothing really super pressing right now. But that just means my blind spot is the fact that I don't know what the blind spot is. So, let's see, creating third party, blind spot. Let's see. 90 days clean, avatar. Guys, we're doing it here. Tribalism, picking sides. Yep. Getting out of comfort zone. Dude, we're covering a bunch of shit here. Guys, I have indecisive men down there. I wrote this list a few months ago. I have indecisive men. And if I started this podcast like most people start podcasts, is you're in the middle of a midlife crisis and you're trying to figure it out. No, I'm fucking around, but I guess I'm fucking around, but that probably is true for a lot of people. I found that people that meet with me to talk about starting a podcast, it's because they're looking for something more than the work, the hustle and bustle. They need something that inspires them, which I think is awesome. I love that a bunch of people are doing podcasts. I think it's a great way to just get your thoughts out. It's a form of journaling, essentially. It's a form of journaling. Let me pause this video real quick. All right, we're back. The DSLR camera only records like 30 minutes at a time. I got to figure out this camera shit. So if you're watching this on YouTube, hello. I know a couple videos have been weird, but bear with me, baby. We got this. We got the new studio during COVID. That's why the sound sounds all good. I got awesome mics, guys. I'm coming out here. This is season 2 of FredTalk. This is like the second phase of my creative just push here. You know what I'm saying? My first few years, I didn't want to put myself out there too strong too early. I had my own issues going on with just follow through and consistency and things of that nature. And through a long fucking time of, introspection and all that, and then like realizing that I was just thinking too much and not doing enough, and going back to that. And, I talked earlier and saying that COVID brought me closer to myself, and coming back to work, I'm like, it's almost like I'm a whole different person. Outside of my professional environment, I've always been very like, life of the party guy you want to hang out with. I leave an area and everyone's like, oh, that was fucking fun, But I could not translate that into my job, which is fucking crazy because I'm in sales. Like it took me, I'm in year 6 or 7 now. And I feel like finally now I'm fully being myself, like making jokes, being a fucking goofball. Cause that's what I am at the end of the day. So, and I think that depression was part of me trying to maybe overcorrect who I am and putting myself out there in a certain way because I had this medical device job. I talk about this on a couple other podcasts, but just want to keep people updated that if you're on that journey to like finding authenticity and true self, keep just remember, be honest and open-minded and keep going. Cause I'm back to a place, where I've combined, cause most of my life was super extroverted guy, not thinking, just going. Not worrying about things, just fucking everything was social, boom, boom. Then things slow down and I was thinking and I was like, oh, I'm a pretty good thinker when I think about it. Right. And I read books and, you read things that I've read a couple books where it's like things I've already thought. And I'm like, oh damn. I'm like, it's kind of a pat on my back, whatever. It's whatever. But like, it's also like validation for me to go, okay, I'm not like, sometimes we put all these people that write books and shit on a pedestal and really it's just the motherfucker that sat down and started typing. That's all it was. It was the person that decided to fucking go and just start creating content. Just the person that, and I went through that myself recently. It was in August. Rachel had to sit me down and be like, what are you doing? Why are you waiting? You haven't released a podcast. You haven't and I was just sitting in just kind of like a peaceful state, just enjoying myself. Didn't have stand up, Also, we sold the condo in July. We had 2 mortgages for a little bit, which kind of fucked us during COVID. But that was also why we didn't invest in the studio sooner and all that. So there were other things. But if you're on that path to authenticity, keep going. Because once if you're down for a life of honesty, once you start doing it, it becomes fucking addicting. And this is coming from a guy who's lied his fucking ass off. I used to lie so much when I was younger, especially to women, just real true piece of shit move. Because at the end of the day, we're all born with natural abilities. And as you grow, you have moments where you can use them for good or use them for bad. When you're a funny, charismatic person, you can get away with just fucking manipulating people. I've talked to other people that were like this too, just like always calculating type, blah, 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 whatever. But doing that too much for me, it led to just depression, no action, focusing on the wrong things. This has been a fucking journey, man. But I finally feel, I'm, I don't like to say it too confidently, but I'm out of that depression. It's been about a year or so, getting my finances in order has been huge with, doing the Dave Ramsey Total Money Makeover. I'm going to give you a quick selling thing for this program. It's for people that historically are fucking horrible with money, because that was me up until about 2.5 years ago. Horrible with money. And, through finding a good why, aka me thinking Rachel was going to leave me, I got my shit together. And this plan is a very simple way. Essentially you work to get out of debt, because if you have a ton of debt, you can't really accumulate wealth. Now, I know some guys like, well, you can leverage that and blah, blah, blah. Nah, this is for people that could never, I mean, literally my whole life could not stick to a budget up until 3 years ago, guys. Think about that. And now I'm doing it. So if you're looking for, money stress, I know it's fucking tough. That shit is like, managing money is, it's very difficult for a lot of people. So, Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover. My parents just got on it about a year ago or so, and they're like, it removes a lot of anxiety when it down to finances because you tell your money where to go every month. And I by no means have any qualifications to, I'm still not great, but I'm definitely at a point where I'm proud of myself and the way I manage money. So I think when you can find moments that you're proud of yourself, go with it. All right. And guys, stop apologizing for being proud of yourself. Sometimes people that talk to me, they'll be like, oh my God, they'll be like, I'm sorry, man. I feel like I'm just talking about myself. I'm like, hey man, listen, it's okay to believe in yourself around me, buddy. Okay. You're giving me hope. When good shit happens to people, I get hopeful. Cause that's the positive about being selfish. I'm the right amount of selfish that whenever someone does something great, I get super happy because I'm like, oh my God, maybe I can also do something great. I tie it back to me in a selfish way, but it's good because I'm also legitimately happy for them. Because if you live life, this shit is rough, man. So you got to celebrate not only your wins, but everybody else's wins. If somebody's doing well, makes you uncomfortable, you got some work to do. We all got work to do, but you got a little bit more work to do, buddy. Right? If you feeling the wave of hate, and then recognizing it and being like, oh, this is so stupid. Why am I, that's a different level than you don't even recognize the hate. And then you start doing some weird shit as a 30-year-old adult because you start to realize some people are just, they're grown-ups in the sense of like some ways and a lot of times not others, indecisive men, more conviction. Yeah, one thing for anybody out there that's, figuring it out, they go through, the ups and downs and all that. Indecision was something that I realized was really when I made the conscious effort to be like, every moment there's a decision that needs to be made. And this is for my procrastinators out there. I'm here with you. This is, just make a decision. Don't sit in the anxiety of, oh, I got all this stuff to do, but I'm not going to get started now. And then just sit in the anxiety because you're too scared to do the thing. I've literally just been, I find anything to inspire you. So I stopped reading self-help books, like ones that are like, oh, this is how you be a person. The Everything is Fucked book. That's good writing. That's a self-help book, but there's a little bit more to it. He gives good examples and all that. But I watch clips of like Avatar, The Last Airbender, shit like that. I take quotes from that. And I found a mantra from Avatar. It's one where this guy learns how to fly and he essentially has to detach himself from everything. And he calls it entering the void. So it's like unearth. It's like, let go your earthly tether, enter the void and become wind. And I started repeating that and it broke me through like this procrastinative phase. So it's like I got to do little weird mind games to get myself to do shit, man. If I have to if it's not a feeling thing, I got to it's kind of frustrating. It's one of my downfalls, but that also comes, with the good and all that. And yeah, guys, we're 38 minutes in. If you're still listening to this, you're a real one. I'm not going to talk about this, but I did write this in my book a few months ago. I put Coke and Butthole. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I gotta figure out what that is. Oh, I know what that is. Oh, that's a story for another day. This is a different type of podcast. We're catching up here. We're having a good time. We're talking about what we've learned in COVID. What have you learned? I started a dating show, guys. If you're listening to this and you have single friends or you're single, on YouTube, it's a live dating show. I spend 20 minutes talking to people, and if people like them, they get to slide in the DMs on Instagram, which I think is great. It's like the halfway point between the Tinder profile and the date. And I ask them, they're silly questions. So you get to see how much fun they're having. Then there's the deep questions to see if they have the capacity to even You know what I'm saying? It's tough to come up on the spot when you're on the show and I'm like, what does love mean to you, you know? And I tell people this, you know, after episode 3 or something like that, the best thing for that, the advice I give everyone, we prep a couple minutes before, because I don't want it to be too overthought, because at the end of the day, it's a show about you. Like if you're a guest, it's about you. So there's no wrong answers. Some people have made the mistake of overthinking their answer, and then it comes off like this like Instagram profile, Instagram quote. And I can't really work with that, because you can't work with inauthenticity. It's harder to. It's like, it's, you know. But if you're real, and the best way to do this, because I'd say be as honest, and everyone's, you know, a lot of people are like, I'm the realest person ever, blah, 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 which is cool. That's awesome. But if you want to be authentic, or you want to head, the one thing you could do is say the first thing that comes to your mind. If you're not too, you know, programmed, I guess, just say the first thing that comes to your mind, because that's at the very least is the most honest thing. And then a lot of times that's where the funny comes from. You know, that's where the magic happens, as they say. But yeah, I started, you know, dating show, did a bunch of shit, you know, started working and creating, gave myself the appropriate rest. I got in shape and out of shape during COVID. Who else is in that club? I just got on a program now that I'm on for a couple of weeks, and it's been good, but I'll keep you posted on that later. Yeah, guys, check out Date Live with Fredi Valois every Wednesday night at 8. Guys, we're not done with the podcast. I'm just gonna, you know, talk about some things that I've released, which is why I haven't done the Fred Talks. But Date Live every Wednesday. Then once a week we drop World Local News. It's a current event style entertainment show. We grab some political topics, some pop culture topics, and we have some fun with it, man. We try to have interesting conversations with some fun in there. So if you can, check those out. Shit. Dude, have you guys watched Down to Earth with Zac Efron? I mean, come on. That came at the right time of the quarantine, the COVID thing, because it was after Tiger King, and we needed something like Zac Efron to kind of cleanse the palate after that. And I think he was perfect. You know, it's a show about him doing like this, you know, like if you guys know, follow me on Instagram, I do like any chance I get cold plunges, shit like that, cold showers. I fucking love the cold. I want to do the polar bear swim in New York City. Like I want to start doing that shit. Like go out to, you know, Brooklyn and do that. And I love like, you know, optimizing things when I'm not severely depressed. And I'm thinking I'm going to learn some ways to optimize my life. But then, you know, Zac Efron has me questioning my sexuality for the rest of the show. They're doing these unnecessarily long pans to Zac Efron's face. And I'm like, oh shit, what's going on? Oh, wow. I know he's attracted, because I can see a guy's hot and not be attracted to him. But Zac Efron, baby, you broke that barrier, dude. Down to earth, bro. I mean, yeah. I was like, this motherfucker really is. There's some actors that people metaphorically suck their dicks, and I'm just like, I can't get on board with that. But I see it with Zac Efron. You know, you saw the memes going around how he was they were fans of him in their teens, and now they're fans now, and he grew with them as people. We needed that kind of shit for 2020. If you want some more good vibe stuff, check out Little Duval's his cover or whatever of Don't Worry, Be Happy. It's like a 2020 version. It's really good vibes. If you don't follow Lil Duval on Instagram, he's a great follow. He's funny ass motherfucker. All right. What else, guys? Dude, I mean, guys, we got to transcend the bullshit. I'm going to bring this to a close. I've done 44 minutes. I think this is pretty good. We got to transcend the bullshit, guys. There's forces out there that are really trying to fuck us up and get us really confused and scared, because that's when it's easy to snap in and really make people do some stupid things. So have patience with the people around you. You know, if you find, you know, you're trying to be open-minded, but you find yourself getting, you know, wildly emotional and you know, wanting to whatever, just just be patient. Like, develop a genuine sense of curiosity. Like, practice that. Because that's, people ask me like, oh, I asked all these good questions. It's not like I'm thinking about it. It's just because I genuinely can't. I'm like, I want to know that. So that's the way I ask it. You know what I'm saying? When I started the dating show, when I started that, it was interesting. I had like a bank of questions from the internet because I was like, oh, I wanted to make it more game showy. And now it ended up evolving into more of like what I do on this podcast, having conversations, but it's just for 20 minutes. They're a little bit, the feel is a little bit more quick. You know, we may jump around, but, you know, people like the questions I ask. You know, I get to ask questions that you don't typically ask on a first date. And I'm getting better at calling people out when I think they're kind of full of shit too. Because that was tough to do at the beginning. But when I call people out, you know, it's not to make them look bad. It's just to be like, come on, dude. You got people watching here. Let's not get crazy. But the ones that do great are the ones that are honest, man. Like anything in life. Guys, remember to subscribe, rate, and review to FredTalk. Share with a friend, guys. I'm ready. Help me achieve my dreams. I'm ready to put my work out there and people to see it. I feel confident, you know, that I'm saying that I've earned, you know, a second of someone's time to one of my posts or through my vlogs. Not saying we ain't gonna fuck up, but you know how it is, baby. If you're about this podcast, you're about getting better and having a good time doing it. So just remember that, guys. Don't take yourselves too seriously. Breathe and transcend the bullshit, guys. I truly do think at the end of all this, we're going through a rough time, but I really do think that we're gonna come out better on the other end, in the not so distant future. I promise. There's just something. It's a weird promise because it's a gut thing, but just, you know, I watch, man. That's why I'm a comic, man. It's just something that I don't know. Yeah. We're gonna be all right, guys. That's what I'm saying. We're gonna be all right. Subscribe, rate, and review. Love you guys.